I was talking with my brother the other day on a live stream, and we got onto the topic of happiness. Now, pursuing happiness as the goal of life, as the ultimate end of life, I'm skeptical about. I tend to agree with the philosopher Michael Hoymer that we live in a world of a plurality of values that all are competing for being desirable as ends in themselves. There might be happiness, but there also might be duties to one's family. There might be justice. There might be doing the right thing. There might be stretching our potential or pushing ourselves really hard to change the world. That might not always directly lead to happiness for us, but maybe it's part of fulfilling something else. So I think these things are competing, and I think it's complicated. But clearly, happiness is an important part of our lives. It's something we strive for. It's something we try to foster and engineer in the decisions we make. And I don't think happiness as perceived as these peak experiences we have sometimes, I think that is overrated. I think those experiences are rare. You know, if it's like having the life-changing trip or just the most amazing birthday party ever, falling in love, having your first child. There's all these moments that are peak amazing experiences where people think this is the most joyful I've ever felt. Those aren't sustainable. And yes, we can hopefully do many things to foster more of them in our lives. We can create that environment, but we're not really going to live at that peak level all the time because we have day-to-day lives that aren't like that. So I think more of happiness is something you need to think about the criteria you're ticking off each day. My brother Matthew talks about this, about, you know, we might need to do some creative work, we might need to work on our body, on our health, do something intellectually stimulating, spend some time with the people we love, take care of our health, eat well. All these things contribute to a feeling of mental equanimity. But they don't alone mean that we're going to feel happy. I mean, we still have to, you know, a bit like 80% of happiness is avoiding the worst calamities. It might be stress, illness, financial ruin, addiction, relationship problems, heartbreak, you know, all those things. A big part of happiness is just the absence of those forms of suffering. And I also tend to agree with the Stoics that we have to just expect a level of difficulty, a level of suffering, misfortunes, things out of our control. So we can control as many things and routines in our day to foster the right environment, but ultimately how happy we feel is also going to be dependent on how we face down the challenges that meet us. Now, one thing that my cousin told me once about happiness, and I've never heard this anywhere else, so maybe there's a source for it if you know it, but he told me when I was very young, and my cousin wasn't known for dispensing life advice. He was like the crazy, fun party guy we all looked up to. He was an actor. He was always the person who was doing some crazy thing with his friends, and our younger siblings and cousins, we all looked up to him when we were growing up. He was the kind of guy who could show up to school in a WWE wrestler's outfit and the teachers would just go, "Ha ha ha, Danny, what a character." And somehow he'd just get away with it and look funny doing it. Whereas if any of us showed up, we'd have been laughed at by our peers, made a mockery of, and probably sent straight home. Somehow he got away with these things. But one time he told me that one of the secrets to happiness he learned was that you always have to have two things to look forward to. And I said, why two? And he said, you need one so that you have something to get excited about, and two so that you don't get depressed when the first one ends. And I thought that was really funny, and its profundity has sort of stuck with me ever since, which must mean there's something to it for it to have never left my mind. And I always think positive anticipation is actually very important. And my brother said to me, but doesn't this go against all the mindfulness stuff like Eckhart Tolle and the Buddhism and all these things? If those things are about being present and forgetting the past and the future and just being wholly in the now. And I guess it is a little contradictory, but a lot of research shows that positive anticipation is important. Apparently, looking forward to a skiing vacation is a big part of the joy leading up to it, planning it, thinking about it, getting excited with your partner. That could be because by the time you get skiing, there's loads of fucking rigmarole, like 4-hour coach trips up a mountain, sitting on a chairlift that gets stuck and you're cold and wondering if it's going to move again, or just tumbling down a mountain and you think you're going to break your leg. It's a lot of hassle with skiing. I kind of like it though. But positive anticipation does matter. I think just knowing there's something good around the corner. And one of the things I think made things feel so bleak when COVID hit last year was that people couldn't think of a positive future. There was all these bleak predictions about how this was like the end and nothing was going to be normal again, and we didn't know if a vaccine was ever going to be feasible, and people thought, oh my god, is just the world stopped now? Like, what does this mean for the future? Is everyone just going to get sick? And I think it just compounded the despair people were feeling because they couldn't anticipate a better future. And I think in the UK now, where the vaccine's being rolled out more and things are improving, there's an optimism in the air that wasn't there last year, where people are looking to live their lives again. They're looking forward to things they're going to do, travel plans. And I just think positive anticipation is a big part of that. So I don't think this is some panacea. I think happiness doesn't come with one secret. I think there are many, and at the best of times, there's so much that goes into it, like your genetic makeup, your natural inclination towards optimism or pessimism, and just all these different complex things. But I think you can do these things at the margin to improve your happiness. And I think that's such a big part of any form of personal development. Sometimes it's just at the margin. If you can up your level of happiness or fulfillment or success, it can actually lead to a much more profound life satisfaction just by upping it by like 10%. Like that Dan Harris book, 10% Happier. So 2 things you can look forward to. I remember Christopher Hitchens talked about this as well. He said that one of his definitions of happiness was to work all day knowing that you're going to see a good friend for dinner in the evening. So he kind of stumbled around the same thought. He didn't say 2 though. So Cousin Danny, you've still got the pattern on the 2 things to look forward to theory. So let me know 2 things that you could look forward to in the comments below. I would love to read them. And we'll look forward to some more of these. And I'm anticipating this weekend. I'm going to read some bloody books. I'm going to book some books. That's what I do now. That's what I look forward to in COVID. I just get books and books and books. I need to find something to do other than buying books.